Okay, it is, what is it? March the 10th. Municipal Services Committee, I'm going to call the meeting to order at 6:07. Present are Alderman Mech, Alderman Rita, myself, Jim Pastrol, Betty Harmeyer, I'm sorry, Betty, my mind just froze up for a second, and Eric Alvarez. Okay, citizens' concerns.
Dave Johnson, 2520 Union. Just a quick comment. Just encouraging and just being a nudge. Just encouraging to keep going on pedestrian safety. To not let IDOT's intransigence deter you or deter the city. We do have. I feel pretty strongly that we do have law and regulation on our side, and there's low-cost things we can do. So I'd just like to encourage you guys to keep going. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have something to say, sir?
Gabriel McGee. Just want to make sure that you guys are focusing on our streets, getting our comprehensive plan put in place. This is what Blue Island really needs, direly needs for our streets. So, and anything you guys can do to kind of push a plan into action, that would be great.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Jim.
Good evening.
Hi.
So for the public works report, we used 11 tons of coal patch in the last month. 30 street lights were repaired, there were metal poles, and 9+ ComEd's been reported. 41 20-yard dumpsters of bulk waste has been removed.
Wow.
One 20-yard dumpster of tires. Last storm was Storm 26. We had one frost call. And then we're doing our EPA bacterial testing for the water. Actually, the second series one today. Reading water meters, and that's about it right now. Any questions?
What's staff level?
We're doing pretty good. We're doing all right.
What's a frost call, Jim?
A frost call? A frost call, a lot of times that'd be early morning, and it's just actually giving us a warning that, you get a hard frost on your car in the morning, it would be like the bridges. The bridge decks would be like that, all the elevated surfaces. So what our standard would be if we get a call like that, we take out one truck and we salt all the bridges. Just, because it hits, a lot of times it'll hit like that between 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning. So we're covered. So it's salted and, for safety.
Okay. And
Yeah.
I'm going to just jump ahead one item here. As long as we have you. Oh, sure.
Did you say that you're doing the cold patch now?
We have, coal patch. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're doing that
Yeah.
now, and then what date do we usually start the?
The hot?
Yeah. It's usually in April, right?
We were just talking about the plant might open around May 1st, right
May
around that
1st,
area.
okay.
Right around that area.
I thought it was the end of April, you're right, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
right around that time.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
I had a few constituents ask. Wanted to be sure.
Okay, now I'm going to put you on the hot seat, Jim.
Okay.
About some of the alleys, I've had a couple of people come to me, and their alleys really are bad. It's not just, they've got a 3-inch pothole or something like that. It's a adventure getting it into their garage. And is there something that we can do in the, for the really bad areas?
We could take a look at it this time of the season. There's very limited what we can do. We don't use any coal patch in any alleys. The stuff is 3 times the cost of the hot. And it's temporary. The coal patch doesn't last, it breaks down.
Right.
So it would turn to gravel. So we're very limited at this time of the year, but we're very close to the, the hot plant opening up, the asphalt plants.
Okay. All right, thank you, Jim.
Okay.
That's what we're waiting for.
One quick question.
Sure.
Do we have a grinder?
Yes.
Like a planer milling machine?
Right.
No.
Oh, I thought we did.
Last year they went ahead, they were trying to purchase one, but it wasn't purchased properly.
Okay.
And I believe it was July 18th, we got, or June 18th, right in there. It got delivered and it actually just got picked up this week. So we never paid for it. It didn't work out. So we're
Okay.
but no, we don't have one, and nor do we have a paver
Okay.
to go along with that. We, a paving machine or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, and then, under Public Works, I have, need a motion for rescind handicap parking for 2212 123rd Place. Motion by Alderman Mech,
I'll second it.
second by Alderman Rita, all in favor?
Aye.
That's what I like, tiny committees. Okay, Betty? I'm sorry, Ms. Harmeyer?
Okay, so this report is from February 1st to February 29th. Delinquent accounts with payment plans, contractual accounts were 9. Amount collected from the above was $2,482. Homes sold with a water balance were 9, and that was $1,208.07. Only 63 red tags went out last month. There will be plenty more this month. The amount collected from the above was $16,999.72. Contracts resulted from red tags were 9. We have 1 pending, and we had 1 off. Contracts paid off were 6 of them at $1,395.24. And the response to letters that I've sent out, 11 responses at $2,395.69. So this amount totals up to $24,480.72. Any questions from anyone?
I just have one, just for clarification. When you say contracts, you're talking about payment plans?
Payment plans, right. I would like to just add about the situation from last month that has definitely slowed down. We have rectified every account that we're aware of that had any issues. We received many, many, many phone calls, which we dealt with everyone individually. I expect to continue to get those phone calls, and I welcome them because they have a concern, and I want to make sure that that concern is dealt with. So I would think we'll still have them for months down the road. Because it's kind of...
Did you say months?
Well, I think months, because they will fall back on, if they have a high usage one month, they're going to think that they were affected by something, and it probably, more than likely, will be that they had a high usage because they had a leak of some sort. And nobody ever wants to hear that a toilet is having a problem, ever, ever, ever. I have to say, I had one fella call me today just to tell me that when I was telling him about, he has 3 toilets, I said, you need to go to the one you don't use very often because there's probably something wrong with that. He called me today to tell me there was something wrong with it, and he shut it off. So, I mean, but people don't want to hear that. So that's why I relish the phone calls, because I say, okay, we can help you with this. I can give you some ideas to how to check things out so that you can see yourself. So it does work. Any questions?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Mr. Jackson's not here. But I have his report for the month. He's got an incident in February where 3 school-aged children from Posen came to the rec center for open gym and informed staff members that one of their 11-year-old classmates had threatened them at school and may possibly be carrying a knife in his book bag. Let's see, I'm going to skip through some of this. The employees were told not to let the student into the gym without his registration form, so we can get the parents' contact information off the form and contact his parents regarding this incident. No further action was taken. Their monthly activities on February 6th, Elevate Energy hosted an energy efficient seminar from 6 to 8. 4-H International Fair Passport World event was held on Saturday, February 15th from 3 to 6. There's a whole bunch of pictures here. On February 19th, the University of Illinois Extension Program held their monthly cooking demonstration. And on February 29th, the City of Blue Island John D. Rita Rec Center hosted their 5th annual Black History Program.
I'd like to say that I attended it, and it was great. It was a huge, a lot of people came out, and they did a great job, and the speakers were tremendous. It was a really great night. So, wanted to tell Bob, but I couldn't, yeah.
Bob had sent me an email under this Section B. He sent me an email about having Wi-Fi installed for the 2020 census. I wish he was here because I don't know what the advantage to the city is having that. It would cost us $3,500 to have Wi-Fi installed for them because we would have to install the Wi-Fi for the Census Bureau. And I don't know if there's an advantage to the city for doing that.
I don't know either.
Okay. I guess we'll just table that for now. Okay, there's no report on the golf course.
Maybe they would set up computers, or
Yeah, they
to fill out
would need
this.
computer stations to,
I have a question. Doesn't the library have Wi-Fi?
Yes.
Couldn't they use that, couldn't they go to the library?
Well, I think he's just trying to get the people that are in that area to come in. They don't have a car.
What about a hotspot on their phones?
I don't know. We'll have to
Yeah.
ask them.
plus they have census takers going out. You know, actually taking a census. I'll have to talk to him more about that. Because I don't know what the benefit really to the city would be other than getting all the people, you know, help to get all the people counted. But for us to put out that money for a Wi-Fi for a limited period of time, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Any other comments? No? Okay. There's no report for the Meadows Golf Course. Oh, Mr. Elber is it.
Hey.
Here's Peyton's for you.
All right, thank you.
Hi, Alderman. So I've got our usual monthly report. All of you have it, and I'm just going to read through some of the points I wanted to highlight. There's a list of all the projects we have in progress from 2018, 19, and 20 here, but I'm just going to go over some of the things I wanted to highlight. So for the New Street reconstruction project, we've been asked to look into skateboard deterrents for the slope wall due to people trying to use them like a half pipe or a ramp. And we've come up with some ideas with the contractor and Public Works and the mayor's office. Basically, 2 different types of deterrents to fasten to the curb at the base of the wall. So if you look here in this little packet, we basically got quotes from the general contractor who did the project and has to come back to put anti-graffiti coating on the slope wall anyway to install either kind of like a traditional parking stops along the curb, because it's going to be kind of hard to describe, but if you could imagine yourself trying to skateboard down and then there's a parking stop on the curb, you obviously can't do it. The picture of the parking stops is the second one, and then there's also, I don't know if you've all seen, like in the railroad safe zones where the trains don't blow their horns, there are these dividers in the middle. So we were also proposing to use these rubberized part of the divider here and install that along the curb. The rubberized dividers, in my opinion, probably the more durable solution, and it'll probably look a little nicer because it's just continuous. The parking stalls, I'm sure you all have seen these a million times before, but they look like this, and we can get them in white too, so it's just the pictures in yellow, but we can get them in white.
I just have a question.
Sure.
Why would we want to spend money on this? I don't get it.
So Alderman, we got asked to look into it, I think due to liability concerns with people using that slope wall as a skateboard ramp.
Oh, who asked you to look into it?
The mayor's office,
Oh,
yeah. I think originally it came from the mayor's office.
okay.
And then also, I believe,
This was the first that I was hearing of it.
okay, and then I think also the clerk and Mark Miller had both also noticed, like, I kind of got it, noticed of it from 3 different people within the same month or so, that there were people skateboarding on it and asking us to look into it. So when we did the punch list inspection with Davis Concrete, us and Public Works went out there and we kind of talked together about what we can do and what we come up with.
Okay, and, excuse me, Eric, this is just New Street?
This is just the slope wall along New Street, that 150 feet of slope wall. You know the wall that kind of looks like brick now? Yeah, along there.
They just finished that,
They just finished that and people are skateboarding now.
the new Street.
So, is that bad that they're skateboarding on it? I mean, how much
don't know,
is,
that's
how,
probably like a
okay, how
question
much
for the city attorney
approximately
or
do you,
something, Alderman.
I'm sorry.
So that's probably a question for the city attorney or something, Alderman. I don't know. It's like, I think there's a perceived liability. That's why we've been asked to look into it.
Okay, and how much approximately would this project cost? I mean, we have streets that need to be fixed rather than worrying about skateboards, right?
Right. This would be.
But I do get the liability part of it.
So-
I understand, but I'm just wondering.
Sure. So there were 2 options here. The New Street project itself cost all up about $300,000.
Right. And this is not part of it, though.
This is not part of it.
That's
This
what
is
I-
an extra.
Right.
Right.
So what would that cost?
Okay, so there was
approximately?
2 options. The little speed bumps,
Uh-huh.
which are, you shouldn't call them speed, like the parking blocks.
Right.
These ones. Davis quoted us at about $4,800, $4,795 to install along the length of that slope wall. And then the rubberized barriers, these ones, they quoted us at $9,120. So the difference is about $4,800 versus $9,100. And, you know, yeah, there's also the possibility to not do it at all. So that would cost 0.
Okay.
Okay,
And I don't think we need to make this decision now. They
Okay,
won't
that's
be
what I was
out there
gonna say.
to do the anti-graffiti coating. It's got to be like in the 70s, so we're looking at like a month or 2, I would say, you know.
Where was that part? I'm sorry. Because I was wondering about the skateboard part. Where was the anti-graffiti?
Oh, no, that's just part of the project. That's not like an extra or anything like that. They just couldn't do it last year because it got too cold. It's got to be about 7, they got to let the
So it's
concrete
already
dry.
been paid for?
Right,
Okay.
right.
And that we have to wait until it's 70 degrees to complete that part of the portion of the project, correct?
Exactly. Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Just want to make, yeah.
But then also to
But this is
answer the
additional.
kind of question of dollars and cents, Alderman, so that project's in TIF 5, and I know there's a lot of streets in Blue Island that need a lot of attention, but in my opinion, the TIF has the money to do these sorts of extras, you know, and still do a lot of road work, so.
I understand, but I respectfully disagree with the clerk and the mayor in regards to spending TIF money on the skateboarding, but like you said, maybe I need to speak to the city attorney. I just think that there are other streets and alleys that need to be addressed. I mean, I don't,
Yeah, I understand that 100%.
And I'm
It's,
nothing against you, I just was a little bit taken aback, because I had not heard about this at all, and neither did our chairperson, so,
Okay.
I mean, especially after we just had a constituent come up and ask, it, so, you
And then-
understand.
Yes, of course, and then I
Okay.
also want to, it'd probably be a good idea also for me to mention, so there's a slope wall along New Street, and if you travel one block to the north along Irving, if you travel one block to the north on York Street, there's the same type of slope wall.
Right.
We did New Street slope wall last year, and we're planning to do Irving Avenue, York Street slope wall this year, so
Okay.
this problem, like, if
mean
this
where
is
all the weeds
preferred
are growing
solution,
up?
we'll just do this on York Street too.
Are you talking about where all the weeds are growing up over there by the bank?
Yep.
So we have.
So we're gonna get rid of those?
Basically.
We're
Two.
gonna get rid of the weeds?
One from 18, 19, and then this one will be from 20 into this year.
So we double the cost, basically.
Right, like if this is a solution that the city decides they want to do, we'll incorporate this into the York Street, and vice versa, if you decide you don't want to do this, then we will not put it in York Street.
This is additional.
Yes. So it'd be 2 areas if we set a precedent.
Or we could do half and half, or whatever, but anyway, it's just, I think it makes sense, if we figure it out now, then we'll use that same solution for York Street
So if
this
we do
summer.
it on New Street, even though it's already part of the project, we should do it on York, that's what you're saying?
Yeah, that's I think.
I've actually seen kids skateboarding down York Street.
Yeah, and it comes back to one thing, liability.
Yeah.
Right, and that's really something for probably the city attorney, so.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I would rather think about this than have to make a decision,
we
because
don't
I
have
just
to.
don't, I don't agree, but maybe if I hear other people's side of it, I would understand it a little better, I just,
Sure.
Okay, well,
And there's no rush on that. Like I
like,
said,
what?
I don't think they'll be out there to do the remainder of the work until May,
Okay.
say, or something like that. So it's just wanted to bring it to your attention, and then, of course, have you review it and tell me what you thought. So
thank
that's-
you.
let's get more information on that.
Thanks, Eric.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I didn't mean to.
No, it's okay. No problem at all. So just moving along.
Okay.
I'm not going to go through the projects one by one because you all have the handout, and
These are all old projects that were already approved, right? And we're just moving along with them.
right, these are all in progress in some way or another, or finished. So the street light modernization, I've had some questions about that recently. I know it's moving along slowly, but we're working with Elevate Energy and Cook County CDBG for some low-interest financing to do this. And it's a very new program, so it's moving along slow, but we're working with the county on it, and the hope is that we get a very good rate to replace all our street lights that they're targeting. Basically, the idea behind the financing is that it's going to be cost neutral to the city. So it's going to cost the city nothing for 5 years to replace all the street lights in town. And then after that payoff period, which they're going to calculate in, it'll just be a savings to the city in energy and maintenance. So that's the goal. And I know it's going slow, but it's a new program. I think that if we get it pushed through, Blue Island will be the first. So anyway, that's the update on that. And we're working with Cook County on it every month. The Western Avenue South.
This would, I'm sorry,
okay.
that was already approved?
Yep. So that's been in progress since 2018.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
So this is still, okay.
The Western Avenue Bridge replacement, we talked to IDOT this afternoon. They're expecting preliminary work to begin in spring. They're waiting for submittals for the contractor for the temporary shoring of the bridge during construction. And they're still expecting work to begin in spring, although they don't have a firm date. The Old Western Avenue resurfacing project, again, talked to IDOT this afternoon, and the main contractor for that is Gallagher Construction, who has given them a start date of May 1st. That's Old Western Avenue between 135th Place and Broadway. 3 more on my list is the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot. We call it Vermont and Western, or the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot. We've completed drilling there. We've gotten recommendations from the geotechnical engineer. I've been using those to refine our cost estimate, which we'll be presenting to Community Development Committee tomorrow. Right, tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow. On to 2021 projects. We have two, I guess essentially you call them grant applications. One's for Cook County Community Development Block Grant, which is part of your handout today for 119th place, which we chose last time. And apologies for the short decision process. Yeah, so that's up today. In the future, we'll try and give you much more time to decide on this stuff.
Okay, we do need to vote on the CDBG project, so I need a motion,
This is for 119th.
yeah, for 119th Street. Place, I'm sorry.
Place, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, motion by Alderman Mech, second by Alderman Rita. All in
Although that was
favor?
not my pick, but I will second it.
119th needs it.
I know.
119th place.
I understand.
Okay.
Being a team player.
That is done. And
Voice vote?
I said all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
And then Eric, Mr. McGee had,
I had one more. I had one more for y'all,
okay.
and then I'm done. So if we get the CDBG Cook County Community Development Block Grant application for 119th place done today, the next one immediately on our list is for STP funding through the STP Surface Transportation Program funding through the Southwest Conference of Mayors, which is Federal Highway Administration money to convert Western Avenue from one-way to two-way in between Gregory Street and 127th. So that application is due March 24th, and we're working with Mark Miller and our road project staff, Jim Polsterl, on that. So I want to bring that to your all's attention too, and then I'm done.
okay.
I'm sorry, and how much would that cost to change Western Avenue from one-way to two-way?
Okay, so Blue Island commissioned a study in 2012 which had the construction cost of that approximately $6 million, which is mostly in traffic signal work and resurfacing.
I do remember the start of the project, but I can't remember what the total.
I think so that's construction cost, and with the project of that complexity, I think you could, like the Transportation Improvement Program had $1 million budgeted for the phase 1, and I would imagine that phase 2 would be similar. So, okay, long story short, I think that project will cost about $8 million. The Federal Highway Administration would fund 80% of that.
And how much would come on for Blue Island?
The local portion of that is 20%. So 20% of 8 million. Didn't bring my calculator. A lot of money.
And when was that, in 12?
That was a
2012, they did a
2012
study
study,
just to
yep.
see approximately how much it would cost and what it would entail. But I don't think it was ever approved. I think it was just a study to see approximately, right?
Right, okay, so the way a project like that would work is, so they did a planning, they call it like a planning level study, so, and that was done by KLOA and Christopher Burke, 2 engineering firms. I think Robinson worked on it as well. So 3 engineering firms did the study. They call that a planning level study. They sent that Blue Island sent that planning level study to IDOT for, I don't know what you call it, like approval of the idea. Do you know what I mean?
And this was not through a committee, this was through the administration, correct?
You know, I don't know how that process works.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, but anyway, IDOT gave it theoretical approval, planning level approval, and then the next step after that for a project of this size is phase 1 engineering. For a project of that scope and complexity, that's probably like a 2-year process. Then it goes to detailed engineering design, which is phase 2 engineering. Again, probably a year or 2 process, and then into construction. So it's a long game, this one, and it likely would be expensive both to Blue Island and to the Federal Highway Administration, but there's a lot of traffic signal work and it's on a state route, and traditionally, although the state can be hard to pin down on this, IDOT will contribute a portion of construction funding to their portion of the traffic signal work on the state route. So like you know, there's like, most of the routes are like half state and half local, like on, there's a traffic
Right.
signal on York, right? Western Avenue in York. Traditionally, the state will pay, all the way at the end, they'll tell you they'll pay 50% of the construction cost of the traffic signal, but you can't factor that in. So let's just say 80-20, to keep it simple.
Okay. And approximately how long would this project take?
For construction, a year. It's actually like, I don't think the main work is traffic signal work and resurfacing, which really doesn't take that long. But it's
Once
gonna be
everything was approved?
Right.
How long would it take from getting approval all the way to the end? Approximately.
I would,
I'm sorry.
Okay, no,
I don't mean to
like-
put you on the hot seat tonight.
I just don't want to tell you
I
like
was surprised with
bad
this as
information.
well.
So that process, in my opinion, would not take less than 4 years. No way.
Okay.
But it's probably more likely like 5 to 10 years.
So right now, you're just are you trying to apply for these?
We're
So
trying-
it might not even go through?
Right,
Am I
we're
understanding
trying
that correct?
Yes, we're trying to apply for the federal funding.
And if we don't get the funding, then obviously we're not going to do it.
Right. Well, kind of. So this project would go into a queue, right? This project, like if we apply for this STP funding, it'll go into a queue called the Transportation Improvement Program. And at that point, like it's just a matter of where CMAP and Southwest Conference put it in the queue. So like if it doesn't get immediately approved, it's not like it goes into the never. It's more like it's number 50 on the list or something like that, you know?
Right. So if we were approved, could we use that money? I know the answer is no, but I just want to ask, okay?
Right.
Could we use that money elsewhere to fix other streets in the city, or no? Does it, because the way it's written, the application, you can only use it on Western Avenue?
Right.
Is that
So
correct?
STP funding gets very strictly prescribed, and then the project, so definitely the answer is no.
Okay.
It can only be used for the project within the project limits.
And that money that may be available to us, we couldn't, is there something that we could apply for to use on other streets, or no, because this is federal money and it can only be used on a state road because of Western Avenue?
Right, so the answer to can we use that surface transportation program funding to do other streets in Blue Island is definitely yes. So only certain streets in Blue Island are applicable for federal funding. And those will be, like you can look at the map, CMAP has a map, and you can look at Blue Island, like you can just type in, I think you can type in STP eligible streets, Chicago or Illinois or something like that.
Right.
And CMAP has a map, so only certain streets are eligible for, and this has been classified over years, like these streets get classified, so it's like, okay, I'll tell you them anyway. So it's like Vincennes, Western, 127th Street, I believe parts of 119th Street and parts of 123rd Street, where we have an application in to make Maple Avenue STP eligible, although it's
Okay.
still in the queue, and it does not, like, when you're working with the Federal Highway Administration, does not move fast, like that
Right.
was many years ago we put that in. Chatham Street, at least a portion of Chatham Street and Division Street, I believe, are both on that list because of the
new
bridges
bridge?
over the CalSec.
Yes,
Yep.
I remember that. Mhm.
But I think that's, and Vermont and Broadway. Vermont, Broadway.
Yes.
That's probably not an exhaustive list, but like, it's those big main streets, you know?
Okay.
Okay?
Okay?
All right. Mr. McGee had asked me about the use of wear prevention treatments on the pavement in town.
Sure.
And what the cost effectiveness of that might be.
Yes.
What is that? I don't know.
Did you
What-
want to talk? Sir?
What's it
No,
called?
okay.
What is it called again?
You can speak on this.
There's various applications that you can put on a street once they're
Right.
paved to prevent them from wearing down.
And this is called a wear preventive?
I
Okay.
made that up.
Oh.
I don't know what it's.
Oh, I thought, that sounded pretty official there.
Right. No, I mean, that is definitely the idea. So, okay. So, I'll give you like, I don't want to like bore you all with the details, or also I want to give you all as much information as I can. So, basically, pavement deterioration, say when you make a new roadway, happens over a number of years. Say in the IDOT life cycle cost analysis for hot mix asphalt pavement, they'll say that that's going to last about 40 years if we maintain it appropriately, right? So generally, as your city engineers, we recommend using the IDOT program for life cycle analysis for hot mix asphalt and Portland cement concrete pavements, which I can get it free. I will get it. I brought it. Because I'm in there. Somewhere I have this. Okay. So, I mean, you can get this information online. This isn't like, this isn't some secret or anything like that, but we generally defer to the IDOT method for life cycle cost analysis for HMA and asphalt and concrete pavements, which basically, like, you see it broken down between years 5 and 40. In 5-year increments, they have like recommended what you should do to maintain the pavement the most economically you can. And for IDOT, it consists in year 5 of crack sealing and patching. Year 10, again, crack sealing and patching. Milling and surfacing in year 10. Milling and resurfacing in year 15. And it just goes on to year 40. So I guess what I'm like to break that down, for global preventative maintenance, which is what something like pavement, like fog sealing. Fog sealing is like where they spray new bituminous asphalt on the, where they spray new bituminous emulsion, like the black tar, on and you'll see it in parking lots. So you see like spray seal. Basically, for our longitudinal roads, rather than like a parking lot or something like that, we recommend them for crack sealing versus
we
like
do that.
versus like spray sealing or fog sealing or rejuvenation. That's not to say that those types of treatments aren't economical, don't preserve the life of the pavement. It's just, again, deferring to the state recommended maintenance program they found. And I think CMAP, also Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning, also recommends the same, which is basically like crack sealing from between years 5 and 10 to get as much life of that, to get as much useful life out of the money we put into that surface as we can until it's time to resurface it. Is that a good?
Okay, I have a question. Are
Yeah.
we doing that now?
Yes, Alderman, we do
crack sealing,
We
yeah.
do crack sealing, yes. And, sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Gabriel.
Gabriel, one thing Gabriel mentioned is having a citywide plan, and us as your city engineers and Public Works are in complete agreement with that. Public Works, about 2.5 years ago, something like that, applied for free funding for a citywide pavement management plan, which we're working with the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning on. We've received the draft plan. I think we were supposed to have the final plan at the end of February, but obviously we're not there yet, so it's like any day now we'll have a citywide plan, which includes, to answer your question, Alderman, like a citywide list of the streets that are appropriate for crack sealing. And that's what we're hoping to use to develop the program for this year.
So could it be done yet for 2020? Would we have any of this work done?
Definitely, it could be done yet for 2020, and depending on how the appropriations go this month, I would suggest is the city engineer that a portion of that roadway maintenance fund should be used for crack sealing to preserve the life of the pavement that's appropriate for it.
I know in the past, we used to appropriate for that. I know when I was the finance chair, we definitely did that.
Yep, and Alderman, you also led us through a couple of programs as Municipal Services Chair too, I think at least 2 years, if not 3.
Right.
Yep.
All right, any other questions?
I actually, yeah. I mean, you've heard of reclaim it, right? So you can actually extend the life of it exactly as you stated, right?
Yeah, reclaimite, Reclaimite's a rejuvenating agent, right?
Yes.
Yep. Mhm.
Other cities have been able to lay this in after like 1 year after a street has been put in, similar to how we have Irving just put in, you know, and it stops the street from breaking up.
Right.
Which would extend life over time, which would, you know, it's an ounce of prevention that beats the pound of cure. And I understand that it's not IDOT's, you know, a recommendation, but other areas outside of Illinois are using this, and it's being successful.
Right, okay, so,
just something that, you know, food for thought.
and Gabriel is 100% right. Even in the south suburbs here, like I know, for example, Village of Lansing last year did a program, I think it was with the same product, did a program where they're doing like a test run, I think like a 5-year evaluation, and there's absolutely no reason why Blue Island couldn't do something similar, and that's what, if we wanted to go for something like a rejuvenating agent, that's what I would recommend, to do, pick a couple, like, in the streets that we do in 2020, or the streets that we did in 2019, and just try those, and see how that goes. There's absolutely no reason why we couldn't do it. It has been proven to be economical in other municipalities, including municipalities in the Chicagoland area, but it's just a question of, is that a technique we want to try, or do we want to just keep with the crack sealing?
Has any of these methods been tried on, say, Longwood?
I don't think Blue Island's ever done like a rejuvenating agent program that I know of, but crack sealing definitely, not on Longwood, but we do, like, when we do crack sealing, typically it's like miles and miles of road, because it's really cheap. It's like $1 a foot.
Versus the other.
Versus like, oh yeah, versus like resurfacing, which, well, when I say $1 a foot, that's for $1 a foot of crack seal. And your typical roadway that's eligible for crack sealing will probably have like between 3 and 6 feet per foot of, sorry, I don't want to get too technical with you all here. Crack sealing's an extremely economical way to preserve the license plate.
Versus what the other product you were talking about.
No, that's also extremely economical. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
like I'm saying, there's no reason we couldn't try it.
We should.
I don't know. Can you,
What do we need to do to get that rolling?
I can give you a cost estimate to do like in 2020, the streets we did in 2019. I can present it to you next month, and then you can decide.
To make sure it's in the appropriation then for, right?
Yeah, that would be a good idea. Yep.
okay.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. So is that, we'll call that a plan?
We'll put that in
Okay.
plan. Okay. I think we need a motion to adjourn.
Got it.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Mr. Jackson.
All right. We'll see you back in the real meeting.